अन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ना गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवयो मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधुक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, verse number 51. So we are reading Krishna's Bal Leela. He was standing the cows, and we read about killing of Vatsasura, and now Bakasura came, who was a brother of Putana. So he is upset because his sister was killed. So he wants to take revenge. So he was clever. He came in the form of a crane or baka and stood inside a lake where Krishna used to come with the calves so that they can drink water. So when the calves drank water and they drank water, then he attacked Krishna suddenly and swallowed him. So Krishna became like fire and burnt his mouth, so he threw him out. So that's what we read. So now it's described tamapatantam sanigrihiya tundayor drodbhyam bakam kansa sakham satam patihi पश्यत्सु बालेषु ददार लीलया मुदावहो वीरणवद्दिवोकसाम्. So when he was thrown out, then after that he again tried to attack him, because he was not going to leave him. So either you attack somebody, if you attack you better finish, otherwise your life is in danger. So now he is determined to kill. So previously he was standing silently, peacefully, but now it became open that he is an enemy. So there is no need of hiding it now, there is no point. So he attacked him again. Tamapatantam sanigrihiya tundayo. So then what Krishna did, that when he came near him, quickly he caught hold of his beaks in two hands, Dorbhyam. So left hand lower, upper hand with the right hand, and then he tore it apart. So Dorbhyam Bakam Kamsa Sakham Satampati. So Satampati, the master of the saintly people, he Dadara Leelaya Baleshu Pasyatshu. So very easily he tore off this crane in two parts without much effort, while the children were looking at him. And Mudavaha Virana Vadyavaksam. And this way he was giving pleasure to the Devakasas. So Devakasa means those who have their house in the space up, Devas. So Devas were also watching it. So they were very happy to see this. So Tundayos Chanchor Nigrihiya Nitram Grihitva Mudavaha Prakarshena Ananda Prapakaha. So Tunda means the chanchu or the beak. So he caught it. Nigriya means strongly, so that he could not get out of his grip. And then pulled it apart. So Mudavaha Prakarshena Ananda Prapaka. He was giving pleasure to the Devaksa, to the Devas. Ushiram Yasya Moolam Tad Viranam Tadvat. So Viran here is a type of grass whose root is called Ushira. So that is the Virana. Just explaining what Virana is. It's a type of grass which you tear from in between to make mat. Sometimes you have seen these mats with like strips, big ones. That's also a type of grass. So it makes a sound when you tear it. Tada bakarim suraloka vasinaha samakiran nandana mallikadibhi samidire chanaka shankha sanstavair stadviksha gopala sutta visismire. So at that time when they saw that this Bakasura has been killed, so then the Devas from the Swarloka or Swarga, they showered Mallika flowers from Nandankanan. There is the Nandana is the name of the garden. Of Indra's garden is called Nandana. Nandanavan we have also here, Nandankanan. So they got the Mallika flowers from there and they showered on him. Samidire Chanaka Shankha Sanstavai. And in this way they worshipped him or honored him by blowing on Dundubhi, conch and reciting prayers. Tadviksha Gopala Sutta Visismire. So seeing all this, all the cowherd children, they were very surprised, because this must be like a big festival for them. Sometimes here in India, when they make big festival, they rent a helicopter to shower flowers from the rooftop. So it was like that. They came in their helicopters and they had a lot of flowers in the backside and they were throwing it. So all the children, they looked and this is, what is this? This is amazing. Some nice fragrance flowers coming. Mallika is very fragrant. So Samakiran, Samyak Akirnam Vyaptam Chakrurti Artha. So Samakiran means that they threw so much that everything was just covered with flowers. So Samstavaihi Prachinai. So Samstav, so there is a stotra and stuti. So the difference is if you compose it yourself, that is called stotra. If it is made by somebody, that is stuti. So Samstava therefore says is Prachin. Means they are famous mantras like Purushokta or something. Muktam bakasyadupulabhya balaka ramadaya pranamivendriyo mriga ganaha sthanagatam tam parirabhya nirvrita praniyavatsan vrajametya tajjaguhu. So when Krishna was released from the beak of this Bakasura, Bakasyad Muktam Uplabhya Balaka, then all the children, they ran to him, headed by Rama there, and Pranamiva Indriyo Ganaha. So then it was just like as if their senses have got the life back. Because earlier they were described that they were like senses without life here, like a dead person. So sthanagatam tam parirabhya nirvrita. So when they came to them, then they all embraced him and felt very happy, nirvrita. And praniya vatsan vrajametya tajjagum. So that day they said, okay, let's quickly go back home. They didn't want to stay there anymore. So they called it a day. So Vrajametya Tajjagu. So they went back to the Vraja and there they described the story of Bakasura. Swasthanam agatam pranamiva Krishnam. So when Krishna came to them, then it was as if their life has come back. Prakarshena tata sakashad aniya tat vatsa vakavada charitram jaguruchai swarena uncha. So praniya means tata sakashad aniya, they brought everyone, all the calves back, and then they started describing about the killing of Vatsasura and Bakasura. Yadva svartaladina gitam jagranthu dinantarepi ganartham iti bhava. Or it means that they actually made a song out of this killing of Vatsasura and Bakasura so that they can sing it like you sing kirtan. So then they can sing it every day. Srutva tadvishmita gopa gopyasyati priyadrita pretyagatam utsukyad akshanta trishitekshana. So when the cowherd people, they heard this, they were very surprised, because this must be very amazing for them to hear that this boy is so special, that so many people come and he somehow seems to kill everybody, but he looked same, very small, nothing special or powerful. So they felt very happy and as if they were respected by him, that he has come back. And they all looked at him as if he has come back from death. Pretya agata agatameva apsukyad akshanta. Trishita ikshana, with unsatiated eyes. Because who can escape such persons like Vatsasura and Bakasura? So it is as if he has escaped death. Like you meet some big accident and you are untouched, no scratch has come to your body. So that's why they were looking at him in great wonder. So ati priyena Sri Krishnena Swadarsan Danena eva Adrita. So what is the meaning that they were Adrita, they were respected? So they felt respected just by the looks of Sri Krishna, as if Krishna is actually honoring them by his looks. So ati priyena Sri Krishnena, that is their respect. Trishitani amritam pibantam eva ikshnani yesante. So trishita ikshana means just like if you are very thirsty, you are thirsty and you don't get water for a long time. So when you get water, how you drink that? So like that, they are as if they were drinking the beauty of Krishna with their eyes. Trishita ikshana. Akshanta shatadishankya sarvangesu nebhalyanta. And they were looking at him as if they are checking if he has got injured anywhere. So they are really inspecting his body, that he is not harmed by this asura. No injury has been done to him. So that is the meaning of Akshanta. And then they were talking about him, that who is this boy actually? So aho batasya balasya bahavo mrityavo bhavan apyasid vipriyam tesham kritam purvam yato bhayam. So this has its great surprise that this boy, he has faced so many situations which could have killed him. Literally it means that he has had many deaths. So practically speaking, as if he is coming out from the jaws of death. So api asid vipriyam tesham, rather he has killed those very asuras who came to kill him. The very people who were the cause of fear earlier to others, they have been killed by him. So this is a great surprise. And they cannot understand that how does this happen, all this. So tatra gopanam anyonyam vishmayokti maha tribhi. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami, he speaks 3 slokas which describe the surprise of the cowherd people by hearing all these stories. Mrityavaha mrityu hetavaha. So death here means the cause of death. Bhayam kritam nirapradhanam asmakam balkasya asya cha yasmad apkara pratham krita tasmad. So he was the cause of fear, but because they are saying that he was trying to kill this innocent boy who has not done anything, so therefore they themselves got killed. Right? If you dig a ditch for others, you fall yourself into it. So they came to kill him, but they got killed themselves. Athapi abhibhavanti enam naivate ghor darshanaha jighamse evana enam asadya nashyanti agnau patangavat. So they are saying it is a great surprise that these terrible looking asuras, they come to kill him, but they are not able to overpower him. Abhibhavanti enam naiva. None of them. The small boy, and they are so huge and terrible looking, but they cannot do anything. They come to to kill him, Jighamsaya, but they themselves are destroyed, just like the firefly which falls into the fire. So Nashyanti Agno Patangavat. So firefly thinks that this fire is some nice thing, I can eat it. But it goes and gets burnt. So that's what happened to all the asuras. ननु अनेन बालकेन पूर्वजन्मनि तेषां विप्रियं प्रथमं कृतम् अतएव अस्मिन् जन्मनि हन्तुमेनमेते एव आयन्ति इति कथं न संभाव्यते. So now someone says that why we cannot think that this boy must have done something bad to these people, these asuras, and therefore now they are coming to take revenge. Because if you do something to somebody in this life and that person cannot retaliate, then he will come back. Right? Karma comes back. So it will come back sooner or later. So then he must have done something to them. So they are now coming to take revenge. So why you cannot say like this? So he says, well, if that was the case, then they would be able to actually kill him. Athapi abhibhavanti enam naim, but they are not able to do that. So yadi evam api syat tarhi tair ayam abhibhuyate eva ityartha. If that was really true, that Krishna has done something wrong to them and they are only taking a revenge, then they would have been able to do some harm to him. But the very fact that they are unable to harm him means he didn't do anything to them. Kintu te nabhibhavanti abhibhavitum na shaknuvanti. Rather they are not able to do that. Pratyut jighamsaya ityadi. Rather they who come to kill him, they themselves get killed. So if they are really coming to take revenge because of the past life action done by Krishna, then they should be able to harm him, destroy him, kill him, but they are unable to do that. So then it's not true. So it's not a past karma, it's a new karma. So everything is not past karma. Some new karma is also there. सहो ब्रह्म विदाम वाचो न सत्यासंति करहिचित गर्गो यदा है भगवान अन्नु अभावी तथैव तत्. So now they come to this conclusion that actually the fact is that those who know the truth, their words are never false. Brahma vidam vacho karichit asatya na santi. So this is certainly true that the knowers of truth never tell lies. Whatever they say, it happens. So Rishinam Punyadyanam Artha Vacham Anudhavati. The sages, whatever they say, then it happens. So why they are saying it? It says Gargo Yada Hai Bhagwan Anubhavi Tatha. What the powerful sage Gargacharya has said, that's what we are experiencing. Everything which he said has come to be experienced by us, because he has said that Krishna has Narayana Samoguna, his quality is like Narayana. So we are actually having this experience, because nobody can kill Narayana, it's supreme. So therefore no one can defeat Krishna, he cannot be killed or harmed, it is not possible. Tatra heturasya narayana samatvam eva ityahu. So the cause behind this is that Krishna has qualities power like Narayana. Gargo yadaha Narayana samoguni. This is what Gargacharya had said when he came to do the name giving ceremony, Namakarana Samskara. Iti nandadayo gopaha Krishna Rama katham muda kurvanto ramamanascha na vindan bhavavedanam. So in this way, the cowherd people who were headed by Nanda Maharaj, they were always engaged in hearing, talking, remembering the stories of Krishna and Balaram, Krishna Ram Katham Muda, very happily. And they enjoyed, and therefore they did not experience any tribulations of the material world. Bhavavedanam na vindan. In other words, if you become absorbed in hearing and meditating on Krishna's story, then there is no bhavavedana. There is no material suffering. So katham kurvantaha आस्थान्याम उपविश्य बाल्य चापल्य कथाम वत्स बकादि वद कथाम च पुनः पुनः संलपन्ते. So katham kurvanta, or speaking about katha, means that they will sit down, they will all gather together, like it is described in Gopal Champu. Right? They all sit together, and then these two brothers, they recite Madhukantha, tell the story of Krishna. So the Brajvasis, they will sit down and they will speak about Balya Chapalya Katha. They will talk about Krishna's naughty behavior, how he did this, how he stole this, because every day he was doing something. They will also talk about the stories of killing of the asuras, like Vatsasura, Bakasura. So they will repeatedly talk about this. And Geet Padyadi Bhirup Nibandhanantova, they also made songs about it, and they will sing all these songs. Bhavasya samsarasya vedanam gyapnam, and therefore they did not experience any bhava vedana, material suffering. So now this is something which is difficult to accept, that how it is said that they did not suffer material misery, because they are transcendental people. Where is the material misery for them? So it says, Bho Vrajraj Vayastavad Bhavatam Ardham Vyatitam Eva Adhunapi Katham Putra Kalatra Kutumbadi Kathasu Nimajjati. So he's saying that as if somebody is saying to him, to Nanda Maharaj, that, oh Vrajraj, half of your life is gone, and you are still so much attached to your children and wife and cows and all these things, all the time listening to the story. And he says, what is this? You should leave all this now. You have to take care of your next life. Ghora sansaroyam vartate asmad uddharartham jnana vairagya tapo narayan smaranadisu katham na yatadve. So this material world is terrible. It's place of suffering. So don't you want to do anything to get out of this material world? Like learn some philosophy, listen to some classes, develop some vairagya, some renunciation, detachment, do some tapas, fasting. All the time you are eating and drinking milk and butter and all this. You can reduce this little bit and perform Narayana Smaran, sit down, do some meditation on Narayan. Why you are not doing this? All the time talking about your son, my son did this, my son did this. He said this is too much attachment to family life. So this type of asakti is not good. So materialistic. Now this is the age for you to give this up. Iti desantara gata vriddha gopadibhir gyapita. So bhavvednam navidan, he is explaining it like this. That as if people are coming and telling, who are coming from outside and saying, so what is this? You are our hero, you are our king, and you are behaving just like a materialistic person. Means you don't know that material world is suffering. So it is saying that because he was so much absorbed in the family life, he forgot that this material world is a terrible place and he should do something. That is the meaning he is saying. It is not that because he was absorbed, therefore he did not have any material suffering. It's just that he forgot about it, that now it is my old age and I should do something. That's how he's saying. He says some people who are coming, they are saying, he says, Vyakhyantaram Tyajyam. So the other explanation that he did not suffer materially because he was absorbed in Krishna Katha, that explanation is not proper. Why? Because they do not have material suffering. They are not materialistic people. But it is some person who does not know this. He is trying to remind him that you don't know this, that how long you will remain attached to this family and wife and children. Now you should hand it over and leave. Go to the forest and do some bhajan there. So, na punah kalpate rajan samsaro jyan sambhava iti purvokte tesham samsarasya eva nishedhat kutastadiya pida shanka iti bhava. So why? Because earlier it was said in the 6th chapter that, O king, they do not have any material bondage or any possibility of ignorance in them. Their ignorance is not like our ignorance. Their ignorance is out of love for Krishna. They don't know that Krishna is God. That is because they have a very deep love for Him. Not that because they are materialistic people. So this was already said. So therefore there is no chance that they are materially conditioned. Samsarasya eva nishedhat. And if they are not materially conditioned, then there is no question of material suffering for them. Because if they are not conditioned materially, then how can they have material suffering? So we should understand the meaning of this statement. So iti sarartha darshinyam harshinyam bhakta chetasam ekadasho ayam dasme sangatah satam. So in this way, the Sarartha Darshini commentary on 11th chapter of 10th canto, which gives bliss to the heart of devotees, has come to an end in the association of devotees. So this is the end of his commentary, but there is one more sloka. Let's read that and then this chapter is over. Evam viharai kaumarai kaumaram jahatur vraje nilayanai setu bandhai markata utplavanadibhi. So in this way, Krishna and Balaram, they passed their Kaumara, their young age, by performing these activities which children play, by hiding, seeking, making bridge, imitating monkeys or jumping like monkeys. So playing like this, they passed their this Kaumar age, 5-year period. So this is the end of 11th chapter, and we will stop these classes now because we will start our Bhakti Ratna course on 18th, so we will take a break because there is no point in starting. This 12th, 13th, 14th chapter are very special. Some also do not accept them, they think they are interpolated, but they are very important. So we'll read them after Bhakti Tirtha, Bhakti Ratna course next year, April. Any question on this?
Yes, Babaji, this Babaji Maharaj.
Yeah.
So, like this last shloka, the second last shloka, where it was said that the Brajvasis were not experiencing any material suffering, and not because of listening to this Krishna Katha, but they were absorbed. Like, because earlier also it was mentioned in 6th chapter. So I'm not able to relate in the sense they are getting perturbed also when Krishna is being attacked, maybe because of love. But then, what is the meaning that they are not being affected by material suffering, and then somebody is giving advice to Nand Maharaj that you just become a Vairagi. How are these two things related?
Which two things?
That you become a Vairagi because you are in the material world. But if he is not feeling any suffering, he is as it is a Vairagi.
Yeah, but one who is saying he does not know this, he is not hearing class, he is not hearing the commentary. Yeah, obviously he does not know this. He is thinking that they are like him.
So another point here is that the way we feel some suffering, so sometimes it is described they get hurt, or in that sense there is some tribulation, or like that attacked by monkey or something. So what is that? That they experience, or that also they don't?
No, they experience, but it is not material. They also feel hungry, right?
So that hungry is not like our hunger.
Their hunger is spiritual hunger. They are spiritual people, so everything about them is spiritual. They have spiritual emotions, spiritual feelings, spiritual experience. Bodies are spiritual, so they cannot have material suffering or material experience. That's why he was quoting the sloka from 6th chapter. That they are not materially conditioned, they look like that. Just like deities also look material to us, but they are not material. So in the same way they are not.
I'd like to ask about Bakasura. So I imagined that Krishna was swallowed by him, right? And then he spat him out, and then Krishna took hold of the beak and ripped it apart. So how can I imagine the size of this Bakasura? See, because his beak was large enough to swallow Krishna,
Yeah.
but then small enough to be split by the
Why
movement
small
of
enough?
its arms, or did Krishna increase in size, or how?
No, if you want to split something, it can be big, but it is joint at the end, we are going to split from there. Even if something is 1 mile long,
Yeah.
but it is joined together, so you are going to split from there.
Aha. So he did not have the whole lever.
You don't have to
ability.
catch at the end, catch it from there.
Okay. And then basically he broke the jaw here and then. Okay. And. and.
Babaji Maharaj?
Yes. Yeah, he has some question. Yeah, go ahead.
And then I would like to ask about, did I understand correctly that these Balakas, they thought that, or the Vrajavasis, they thought that Krishna is so astonishing because Gargacharya said this, and because he's a sage, therefore his words become true, and because he said it...
he predicted already that he has power like that. Not that he has power because Gargacharya said it. Gargacharya is only astrologer, he is only saying something which is there. Not that because he is saying it is happening.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Babaji Maharaj, so in the Damodar Leela, we had Nalakubera and Manigriva, who were trees in Vrindavan from before Krishna was Prakat. So were they part of Aprakat Leela at that time? Because they were still part of Braj.
Yeah.
So in that way, were they already liberated even though they were trees and they were cursed?
No. They were liberated when Krishna liberated them.
So, but being part of Braj and being a tree or even being a dust in Braj is...
It's like we have
is
Braj
equal
now.
to-
Yeah, Braj is here now, there are so many people and trees are living. So like that they were there, and now if Krishna appears here with his, and everything becomes manifest.
Okay.
So Yamuna is there now also, but you can see the water of it. And then when Krishna was there, same Yamuna is clean.
Thank you very much.
You can give the mic.
Babaji, so these asuras, they represent unfavorable characteristics, right? So what we heard is that Krishna kills them with his Aishwarya Shakti. So somehow, how does that, I mean, for people who are who are trying to get that Madhurya Bhava, then he's also doing it with the Aishwarya Shakti.
Doing what?
To destroy, let's say, or to take out these characteristics.
Characteristics or?
Like, for example, we had Putana, which was representing...
Yeah, so you're talking about killing of Putana herself or purifying the heart of a devotee?
Well, as I understood, the story is representing that too.
Yeah, but when he has to purify the heart, it is only some characteristic. He doesn't need Aishwarya for that. By doing devotional service, you will get purified. What Aishwarya is needed for that? Aishwarya means something superhuman characteristic. So these people are superhuman, they are so powerful, so to kill them he manifests his superhuman quality. But to purify the heart, there is no need for that.
So, I also have a similar question about this, but it's only because I was reading this Gopala Champu. And so there is one section in which Krishna is talking with Narada Muni, and Narada is telling him everything that is going to happen with him. So does that mean that Krishna doesn't know anything about, like, he's totally not aware, like, about the events that are going to happen, or like,
Yeah, if there is no need, then he does not know.
okay, but why is Narada Muni telling him then all this?
I don't know. I don't know which part you're talking about.
Okay. There's just part in which they're having a conversation, and Krishna is just asking, so what will happen then, and what will happen then? And he's just telling him also about marriage with the gopis or relationships, and it was like he's totally not.
Maybe just a way that Jiva Goswami is giving a summary of the book. Just a plot. You have to see when you write a literature, then you have to think how you want to present it.
Okay.
It's not some historical fact that exactly it happens like that.
Okay.
Jiva Goswami's own presentation, Krishna.
Okay.
So that's how poets present. Anything else?
Babaji, Haribol.
Yes.
I just have a question, like, do the forms that the demons assume had a meaning? Like represent some kind of a bad feature or character or something like that, or not, or they are just like that?
Yeah, it represents, that's why I said Ghor Darshan. They're terrible. Bad qualities are terrible, and they are not easy to overpower. So that is the meaning of big size. Yes.
One question on a topic that was discussed earlier, some weeks ago, where you spoke about that previously when people would live in an ashram, that that there was a lot of hard work, and that ashram means doing effort. And I was wondering that so previously, as far as I've understood, an ashram was often in the forest, outside of the village, outside of the social support and economic support network, and therefore people had to, work a little bit harder maybe. But on the other hand, I was just wondering, at that time there was also no electricity and this kind of technology, so it seems that physical work was the norm anyways. So what exactly was the difference between living in a village and living in an ashram?
If you are a rich person's son, then why you have to work hard? And there are also people who were rich. It's not that everybody is working hard. There's somebody's job is to teach. He doesn't have to work hard in the field. Somebody's job is to do farming. They have to do work, or somebody's blacksmith or carpenter or this or that. So not everybody had the same lifestyle. Somebody is a Vaishya, just sits in the shop, sells things. But if he goes to study, they have to be like everyone else.
See, so then they also had to fetch the water from the well and this kind of things, go into the sun and
go and get wood for fire, because there is no electricity, as you said. There was no gas stove. Milk cows, graze cows, go bag food. Water itself was not like, it's not that you open the tap and water is coming. Just think of not having running water.
Not so difficult.
One day there is no water, everybody is saying, oh, there is no water, there is no water. Where is Gyani? Why there is no water? So imagine now living like this. Yeah, I mean, I remember when we lived in village, there was nothing like this. There was maybe 2 hand pumps and there were 2 wells in the whole village. So you have to go and pull the water or get from the hand pump. And the cows and animals, they all go to the pond or canal and drink there. Or if you have to make them drink, you have to go on pumping or pulling. Yeah, it's so much work just to feed the water to them. Because they drink a lot of water. No? You go on with the hand pump, they'll drink few buckets. And if you have 10, 15 animals, remember how much hard work is that? Yeah, I remember this in the summer time, we used to do that. It's gone. Pumping. Even in our school, I remember, there was a hand pump in the school, and in the school they had little garden and you have to water it. This was one of the jobs. So all the students have to come and so now you imagine if you have to, just small thing, you have to water it with a hand pump. This was also work.
So children were cleaning the school and
Yeah, everything is different. It's not like what you see the schools now. Now children are going with a tie. 5-year-old boy putting a tie in the school. And 15 kg weight on the back. So many books.
Even now, people don't have a geysers like in Sweden. Before I came to Jiva, also here when I lived in Kusum Sarovar with family, they still don't have a geyser.
Yeah, nobody has that.
Yeah.
It's not.
Geyser is like geyser is like level 5 people also.
Yeah, but if you come from a Western country, like, and in the winter time you go with your bucket and the grandma is filling the water, hot water, so you have one bucket of water to wash your hair and everything else.
Yes.
Like, it's quite shocking, right?
I mean, that's how I grew up too.
Yeah, it's really nice. I loved it. I was thinking, how could people get this?
Okay.
who were these 2 asuras like Vasasur and Bakasur in last life?
Read Garga Samhita. Garga Samhita gives the list of all the asuras, what they were in their past life, I don't know.
Okay, what were their offenses or something?
Yeah, Garg Samhita has all the stories. I read it long ago, but I don't remember. Must have read 40 years ago. Okay, so we'll stop here and next we'll begin with chapter 12.